So tonight is definitely a night to celebrate. It's time for us to say thank you to those of you who made the Centennial year possible. Some of our sponsors are here tonight, and we'd like to recognize them, as well as the ones who couldn't join us this evening.
First, First, we'd like to recognize our corporate sponsors. We're so grateful for their support and helping us with the Centennial Celebration. It's been 2 years long. So first, I want to honor our platinum sponsors. I want to say thank you to Gene and Sheila Miller and their family for Lock 16 being a platinum sponsor. Please give them a round of applause. I also would like to thank Chris and Tyler Colley and the K&L Ready Mix family for being a platinum sponsor. Please give them a round of applause. We couldn't have done all of this without both of you. I'm sorry, they were our diamond sponsors. I messed up. So our platinum sponsors, and some of them are in the house tonight, I'd like to thank Mark and Alma Stolley and the Stolley Insurance family. Please give them a round of applause. Tom All, the Tom All Family Dealership and his family, please give them a round of applause. Huntington National Bank, let's give them a round of applause. And Alexander Bebout, please give them a round of applause. For our silver sponsors, we have Hometown Lima Stations, ATR Contractors, Superior Federal Credit Union, Bristol Motor Speedway, and Gray's Sportswear. And finally, for our bronze sponsors, we have Performa Printing, Tyler Rue Colley, Logo Speed Promotional Products, Lima Pallet Company, and General Dynamics Land Systems. I would also like to thank all of those that are members of our 1920 Society, along with our corporate sponsors. These folks generously gave to the university with a donation of $1,920. Chris and Jan Adams, Jim and Nancy Bronder, Corey and Jenny Burkholder, Daniel and Marcia Eichholt, Steve Farmer, Mark and Jill Jarvis, Jeffrey LeBlanc, Ryan and Stephanie Malloy, Kevin Meager, and Lori Jarvis and myself. Next, I want to thank the members of our Board of Trustees for their support and guidance during these many years. Most of them have served many years, and without them and their support, the blessing we have at UNOH is there are not layers of committees to make decisions. So if something throws a curveball at us, or we have a program or a building or whatever we need to make decisions on, my cabinet and I can present those ideas to the board, and we act fast. So thank you to our Board of Trustees. God bless you. Now, a real special time for me. Also in attendance tonight are our retirees. They're sort of scattered throughout. I've tried to catch all of you and talk to you tonight. But, I've worked with all of them through these years, and they are some of the most dedicated, hardworking people. True Blue loved UNOH, gave it their all. And would all of the retirees that are here tonight please stand up, please. Would you please give them a round of applause?
So as many of you know, because of some of the restrictions placed on large events in 2020 and much of 2021 really, we were unable to formally recognize our current employees for their years of service. So what we would like to do now is recognize those employees who completed a significant milestone in their years of service in 2019 and 2020. So I'm going to read your names. If you could please stand up, and we'll hold our applause till the end of each group of years. So for 5 years of service, Chris Allen, Eric Arbogast, Travis Bell, Jason Bowers, James Brown, Steve Brown, George Cheney, Pat Dixon, Don Evers, Nick Farley, Eric Flanagan, Jeremy Garrettson, Lucas Groh, Paul Higdon, Jacqueline Jarvis, Aaron Lee, Joe McCauley, Natalie Mox, Neil Orsborn, James Petty, Natasha Stoker, and Spencer Waller for 5 years of service. For 10 years of service, we have Chandra Braun, Kathy Bittner, Ron Kortz, John Croft, Julia Etzkorn, Jeanette Evans, Corey Hartman, Mike Koth, myself, Carmel Morse, Dale Neidart, Fred Newhouse, Randy Pack, Rhonda Priest, Robin Piles, Robin Stockdale, Laura Taylor, and Andy Zuberank. For 15 years of service, Todd Carr, Chris Cavallero, Dave Clevenger, Kim Clevenger, Marlo Duffy, Derek Ewing, James Fair, Sarah Kidd, Chris Marker, Jim McNellis, Amy Miller, Lonnie Schultz, Leanne Timmerman, Todd Van Slyke, and Shannon Warman. For 20 years of service, we have Deb Bartlett-Kerbowiak, Dr. Randall Blank, Joe Boop, Michael Callahan, Ron Gillette, Paul Higgins, Jeff LeBlanc, Kent McCleary, Lawrence Myers, Jeff Nidifer, and Dr. Holly Norton. For 25 years of service, Steve Klausing and Randy Waller. For 30 years of service, Dave Dessenberg Sr., Kim Kantner, Joe Minig, and Mark Putnam. For 40 years of service, Marcia Eichelt. And for 45 years of service, Dr. Jeffrey Jarvis.
Is that in my speech now? No, got video. Didn't know if you I wasn't supposed to come up yet. But I got to tell you, my back hurts a lot. Took me 6.5 hours to do this ice sculpture. Anyway, we have a video that Stephanie, Todd, and everybody in the marketing department did. It's a pretty excellent video. It's about 12 minutes long. We're going to show that. I think you'll really enjoy it. And then I've got my hour and 5-minute speech, and then we'll be good, all right? So enjoy the video.
I've been here 22 years.
It'll be 20 years this fall.
I started back in 1997.
And I've been here now, it would be 40 years.
Nearly 42 years.
Almost 30 years. Next year I'll be here 30 years.
I started here in 2002.
2002.
Back in December of 2000.
I've been involved working here for 46 years, but in my life I've been involved over half of that century.
The UNOH family, celebrating 100 years in education. From a small office building in downtown Lima with nearly 24 students in 1920 to a 200-acre campus on the West End, the University of Northwestern Ohio has been pursuing its drive for excellence for more than a century.
I drove by the school daily, and I always thought in the back of my mind it had a lot of potential for growth.
When we started out, we had maybe 4 or 5 international students when I first began at UNOH, and now to be up around 100 is a great asset to the university and the community.
We operate a lot on our own resources, and just being able to do that this long in an industry that can be as volatile as education, I think speaks well for all the management over the years.
So how did a small accounting and secretarial school grow from a few dozen students to what it is today? It's all about innovation, vision, and the never-ending pursuit of excellence. When school enrollment grew to 200 students, it was time for a location change to the Barnett Building on North McDonald Street. After being purchased by local businessman Lauren Jarvis, the home of campus moved to North Cable Road in the early 70s. That's when things really took off. Automotive and diesel programs were added to the curriculum, and the school changed its moniker to match its courses, NBC Tech. On-campus housing was added, and accreditation from the Higher Learning Commission was obtained. And in 1992, the college became a not-for-profit institution.
Becoming a not-for-profit was huge, a first step. Our Higher Learning Commission accreditation, spearheaded by Dr. Mueller and Nancy Meyer and the team back then, was a major step for the university. Becoming a university with 4-year degrees and master's degrees. Those are all major steps. Being the first automotive program in the state of Ohio in 1970, being the first to have a high performance program in 1992, all those are huge steps in our history and what brought us to where we're at today.
The turn of the century came with a new name, the University of Northwestern Ohio. UNOH now includes more than 20 buildings for learning, recreation, and resources, 4 dorm communities, an indoor athletic complex, Racers Station, the home base for student activities, a quarter-mile high-banked dirt track known as Limaland Motorsports Park, the UNOH Event Center, and the Ohio State Beauty Academy. It was time. UNOH was ready for their 100-year celebration. The year was 2020. It kicked off with a ceremonial toast to 100 years.
As we embark on our 100-year celebration, we need to reflect on those successes that have exceeded our expectations and those hardships that have made us stronger. I want all of us to have a great 2020 year. Let's make it our best.
Then, things came to a screeching halt as the COVID-19 pandemic forced the university to go 100% remote for the first time in its history.
The COVID-19 pandemic is something that no one in the world really ever saw coming. The way it changed our operations, how we educated our students, how we kept our staff safe was unprecedented. But as we shook off the shock of it all, we did what we do best. We gathered together, even if virtually, and got to work.
Celebrations were put on hold while the university brought together faculty, administrators, and staff from information technology, housing, maintenance, and marketing to figure out how to educate students, many of whom were not used to learning in an online environment. The challenge was not only to figure out how to continue classes 100% online, but to figure out what campus would look like when students returned to classrooms and shops. Technology infrastructure was upgraded. Masks, sanitizers, plexiglass barriers, social distancing stickers were put in place. And after 5 months of a deserted campus, the university welcomed students back with smiling eyes in August of 2020. The first academic year back on campus, during the height of the pandemic, wasn't easy, but faculty, along with their students, were relieved to be in the classroom doing what they do best, making their dreams come true.
If I can live vicariously through the professors, I'd be giving high fives all around to every single one of them that have influenced a student's life to get to that job. And the fact that they have those jobs is, that's why we're here.
To be able to take a student who comes here with little to no knowledge, they have the desire and the willingness to learn and participate, and they achieve goals that they probably never realized that they were even capable of doing. And to see them go out and succeed in society and a career path that they choose is just a wonderful feeling.
With the pandemic easing its grip in the summer of 2021, university leadership wanted to bring back a sense of normalcy to operations in the safest way, as Centennial celebrations resumed with the inaugural UNOH Family Picnic. The picnic was followed by a resumption of student activities and campus events that hadn't been experienced by students in more than a year. And students weren't the only ones happy to see campus bustling in 2021. As the end of 2021 draws near and the Centennial celebrations, albeit late, draw to a close, one thing rings true at the University of Northwestern Ohio. It's a family. And their goal is to turn students' passions into careers, foster amazing work environments, and continually pursue that drive for excellence.
If I could help people understand how important they are for the young people that go to this school, they borrow money to sit in your classroom. They pay it back after they graduate. When they graduate, they contribute to society. You just can't have a job where those kind of feelings and emotions happen so often.
We're here for the students. Sometimes that's hard to remember. When economies change and when the dynamics of the campus change, it becomes very difficult. But remembering in the long run, we're here for the students who want a better education, to make a better life for themselves and to provide for a family. That's why we're here.
When I'm working here, I've always felt that I've been part of the future. Even after I'm gone, the things that our university has done will live on through our students and alumni.
We have leaders in place that will help guide you along the way, help you understand what excellence looks like, and find your best fit for the university. It's a fantastic place to work.
And as it goes with families both large and small, they will endure all things, even in the face of unprecedented events. Our students will continue to gather both in and outside of the classrooms, putting their education to work. Our faculty and staff will continue to evolve and adjust programming to meet the demands of the industries we serve. And the university will provide a place where those passions are realized and careers are launched.
I remember sitting in a meeting in California with the dean of Yale University's nuclear medicine program. and our assignment was to explain something that we do. And he went through a whole process of what he did, and all of the science and research went through that. And I very politely said to him the same thing that many of the people from College of Tech said, well, what we do is we help get you to work every day. We provide the technicians that can repair your car so that you get to work to do the things that you do. We provide ground level people to enter the business world that have practical experience. We've always promoted the College of Business as a program where you're in your major the first quarter. So we want people to go out and apply the knowledge faster than most institutions normally would. I believe that what we do, we're a mix of a vocational technical training center, a community college, and a university. And I think we've taken all the good aspects of all three and made them great aspects of UNOH.
The people we've touched, the lives we've touched with educating them to become productively employed in their chosen career path. I mean, when you're in a business that helps people, there's no other better feeling. So I mean, personally, it's one heck of an achievement, but just all the memories, all the people, and what we've meant to everyone is probably the biggest achievement that I think UNOH has done in its 100 years. I've always viewed it as the UNOH family, and I mean that from my heart. I believe in that philosophy. I think my coworkers believe in that philosophy, and it's something that we've been and something that will continue far beyond my time here as the UNOH family.
The University of Northwestern Ohio, 100 years old and growing. We are all racers. We are all part of the Northwestern family. Congratulations, UNOH. Into the next chapter we go.
Pretty good video, huh? Quite a lot of achievements. All right, I was going to do this big speech, but I really got thinking about it. I've got a little bit of a speech to talk about the last 2 years here at the beginning. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through the history and share with you a lot of the different things and some of the most important things that have happened through the 100 years. So I want to start off with this. I want to welcome everyone to our UNOH Centennial Celebration a year later than when it was originally scheduled. From the beginning of the COVID pandemic, I had confidence in our capacity of our UNOH family to overcome the obstacles I anticipated we would face, but no one could have predicted the duration of the pandemic or what extent it would change our lives. Just a few months into our mandated shutdown of campus, I wondered whether and when we would be able to hold in-person classes again. Without a significant outbreak on campus, we were able to do that. This accomplishment demonstrates the creativity and resilience of our administration, faculty, and staff, and the perseverance and tenacity of our students. Our students had to adapt to participating in classes remotely. Our faculty succeeded in the unprecedented task of redesigning courses for online instruction while helping students cope with increased stress and anxiety. Some departments, such as plants, safety services, IT, housing, and others, maintain essential on-campus operations while other employees work from home. Administration, and my sheets aren't in order. Stephanie, did you move my sheets? Sorry. Administration and cabinet took part in daily telephone conversations and Zoom meetings to produce detailed plans to deal with the implications of COVID-19 on our campus community. We had to continuously modify the plan when circumstances, the state and federal government, and public health guidance changed and continually change. Because of the individual contributions and collective success within the UNOH family to overcome these challenges presented by the pandemic, I am hopeful, optimistic and grateful. I am confident in our vibrant future, a future that will be successful as our last 100 years. I want to thank somebody that from the beginning of the COVID issue has sort of been our COVID czar. She's dealt with health department, been on the phone with me, with the governor, with the chancellor of the state of Ohio, has guided our cabinet with issues with COVID, has dealt with testing on campus weekly, has dealt with contract tracing. She's been the point person for all of us that have dealt with COVID. And where is Stephanie Malloy at? Where are you sitting, Steph? Stand up. Let's give her one hell of a round of applause. Without her, we wouldn't be where we're at today. So God bless you, Steph. Okay, little history. From its humble beginning in 1920 with 13 students from Lima to a world-branded university that has had students from all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and 69 countries. Growth and success are definitely words to describe our first 100 years. We've had 4 different locations for our campus, starting in the Dimes State Building in the Lima City Square in 1920, to the Dominion Building on High and Main in the 1930s during the Depression, to the Barnett Building on North McDonald Street in 1966, to a 4-acre plot of land on Cable Road in 1973, That 4-acre campus became a 40-acre campus in 1980s, and a 220 campus starting in 2002 when the Board of Trustees approved a 10-year expansion plan we came up with. In addition to acquiring the land during our expansion, we constructed many buildings. The Administration Building, Barnes & Noble Building, 13,000 Building, Ohio State Beauty Academy, the Hunter Engineering Building, Racers Village dorms, all of the sports fields and sports buildings and courts, the Motorsports Racing Building on Easttown Road, the event center we're in, the indoor athletic complex next door, and renovated and did all kinds of expansion on all of the other buildings. What is really amazing is we did this with all of our own resources. We didn't get any grants, we didn't get bonds, we didn't get anybody donating. So it's really amazing what we've done with our expansion on Cable Road. There have been 5 name changes in our history. We were the Northwestern School of Commerce from 1920 to 1970, Northwestern Business College from 1970 to 1973, Northwestern Business College Technical Center from 73 to 90, Northwestern College from 90 to 2000, and the University of Northwestern Ohio from 2000 to present. As long as I'm here, there's not going to be any more name changes, okay? There have been 4 presidents in our history, which is pretty interesting. Jules Barnett from 1920 to 1969, Dr. J. McLean Reed from 1970 to 74, Dr. Lauren Jarvis from 74 to 99, and some other guy named Jarvis from 99 to current. Now, thank you. Now for some of the most important dates and accomplishments in our history. In 1944, we were a charter member of the National Council of Business Schools. In 1962, we became a member of the American Association of Business Schools. In 1966, we were accredited by the Association of Independent Colleges and Schools. In 1969, a guy named Lauren Jarvis purchased Northwestern School of Commerce. I'm going to divert here and tell you a little story about my father. Dad was the national sales manager for a company named Staircat. They made crawlers that you could put a refrigerator on and walk up steps. He was in charge of expanding their sales force. So he was in New York City to try to hire some representatives. He placed ads and he couldn't get people to come in. So he contacted an employment agency, and within the first day, he hired the 2 representatives he needed to hire. So he came back to Ohio, realizing the success of that, and checked in to getting involved in employment agencies. So he started Jarvis Employment Agency with a location in Lima and a location in Kenton. Became very successful. What he found through the employment agencies is that he could place somebody in a job far more efficient and faster if they had some type of post-secondary education. Thus, Jules Barnett with Northwestern School of Commerce came for sale, and he purchased it in 1969. Sort of the rest is history, but I wanted to give you a little reason of why would Lorne Jarvis ever buy Northwestern School of Commerce, and that's the history. He found out through his employment agencies that he could place people with a post-secondary education, and when he purchased the school, by the way, there were 2 people there. One of them's here tonight, I know, when he purchased the school, and that's Mr. Larry Blaine and Susan Snyder Pirtle. Let's give them a round of applause. So then, in 1970, associate degrees were approved. I believe there were 3 of them. So in 1970, we could start offering associate degrees, which was huge. In 1973, we started the first automotive program in the state of Ohio. Huge. In 1976, we started the diesel program, and we started the medical office assistant program. It's been one of our most successful programs, MOA, medical office assistant, through all of our years. 1987, here's a big one. We got full accreditation due to Nancy Meyer, Cheryl Mueller, and the team with North Central accreditation. A major step, one of the most major steps in our history to have that accreditation. In 1992, we became a not-for-profit 501c3 corporation. Excuse me. What was happening with for-profit institutions at that time is there were a lot of truck driving schools and a lot of for-profit schools that were abusing the financial aid system. And Dad and the management at Northwestern College at the time, we didn't want to be lopped on that side of the ledger of being bad schools taking advantage of people. So he started the process of us becoming a private nonprofit institution, which was achieved and which is one of the other major steps in the history of UNOH. It put us in a totally different world of being a private not-for-profit 501c3. In 1994, we added our heating, ventilating, air conditioning program. Our first successful program where the industry came to us, helped us design the program with the faculty, and supplied 95% of the training aids for that program. It was a major step for us. In '95, we added agricultural programs and alternate fuels. Way before you hear about battery cars now, electric cars. We were working on those type of things back then. 1998, we purchased Limeland Motorsports Park. Man, I skipped one. It wasn't on my list. In '92, one of the other top 5 big things in our history is I was out at a SEMA management conference in Phoenix and went out to dinner with 2 gentlemen, a guy named Chuck Blum, who is president of SEMA, the Specialty Equipment Market Association, and a gentleman named Harry Hibbler, who is publisher of Hot Rod magazine. We went out to have dinner and a couple of cold pops. My story, I can tell you what I want. But anyway, Harry brought up, he goes, Jeff, there's no program for high performance. There's onesies. There's a school that might teach engines, or they might teach setups or whatever. True story. So the 3 of us sitting around a table with a napkin, writing down the ideas for a program. This is 1991. I brought those ideas back and turned it over to our College of Applied Technology faculty. And in 92, we rolled out the very first ever high-performance motorsports program in the world. And to this day, it's been our biggest program. More students in high-performance automotive than any of the others. Major step, top 5 in our history. So in 98, so we started that program, and we're training the students. I'm getting feedback from the faculty and other people that we've got to have a place where they can apply what they're learning. So in 98, I bought Limeland Motorsports Park, and it became our classroom, in a sense, where the students could work on the cars, build the cars, take them to Limeland, and test them and work on them. At the same time, came up with the idea of making our motorsports team an athletic team and go out, build, crew, and drive the cars at Limeland and compete against the professionals. And it's been very successful. They've actually competed in other places, Missouri at I-55, Volusia in Florida, Eldora, Waynesville, different tracks around. And it's a great hands-on experience for our students and one of our major recruiting sales points. 1999, we could begin to offer baccalaureate degrees, another major step in our history. In 2006, we could offer a master's degree, another major step in our history. In 2007, I brought sports back. I presented it to the Board of Trustees. They approved it. I wanted to do it different. We weren't going to be the NBC Eagles anymore. So we surveyed the students. We got some real unique name ideas that I couldn't say anywhere. But a top 3 came back, and Racers is one that we put on, and they voted for. And it's pretty unique. There's only one other school in the country with Racers, and that's down in Kentucky, but it's horse racing. So us with motorsports racing, thus, Racers became our nickname. At the same time, we brought sports back. Brought Chris Adams into my world. We started sports. Our first 3 sports were, we had the motorsports, where we had basketball, men's and women's, golf, and tennis. In fact, what's pretty neat is I get 2 of my graduates sitting down here from our very first basketball team, from the Miller family. Let's give them a round of applause. They got married in our gym. Another major step in our history. I heard Danielle say when she started here, there were 4 international students, and now there's 100. There's a lot more than 100. I think we're up about 150 or more international students. And when you think about it, we've had students on our campus from 69 different countries. That's pretty impressive, pretty neat for Lime, Ohio, and the opportunities that we present those young people. In 2009, another major step, we purchased Ohio State Beauty Academy. That crew's right over there. Let's give them a round of applause. In fact, with COVID, Ohio State Beauty Academy came back to actual hands-on class way before we did. And I want to tell you, those folks did a miraculous job of protecting not only themselves, but the students with the policies and procedures they implemented, taking temperatures every day of every student, so on and so forth, and allowed that institution to operate while we were still closed and mandated by the governor to stay closed. Finally, as far as history, in 2015, we started our robotics program. Another major step. As you know, robotics is going to be huge in the future. Dean and the faculty have worked on new program offerings, like this year, light-duty truck, but one that's coming are electric vehicles. I know Tesla's been in contact with us. So we're always going to be on the edge of new programming new offerings for our students, new job opportunities, and continued success into the future. So I wanted to run down a little bit of history for you, and I have a couple more. These are some of the real important different side of our history. This first one I'm going to tell you about. In 1983, during a graduation, and by the way, back then, we did 6 graduations in the gymnasium for College of Applied Technology after every session back then. Now, those of you that are involved in graduation, now, can you imagine doing that 6 times and then plus the College of Business graduations on top of it? But this particular graduation, everybody got up on the stage, and a vice president fell off of the back of the stage and was pinned between the stage and the wall. The curtain swung out and hit Dr. Mueller in the head and knocked her Frenchy hat I got to wear off her head. The place went berserk, laughing. And I'm still pissed at Don Ricker because he didn't put a chair rail on that, and I fell off there and my back hurt for a week. Where's Don at? I know he's here. Where are you at, Don? Got you back finally. It's all true. All right, I'm really diverting, but I got to tell you this one. Some of the faculty, all of the faculty, and some of the staff have heard me tell this story at graduation. True story, happened over 30 years ago. I'm heading down to the FFA National Convention in Louisville with 3 other employees, admission staff. I won't name them, but it was special. We're coming into Louisville. We stop at a restaurant, and 2 of them start arguing. It's Louisville, 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 Louisville. I mean, this thing got heated. They were ready to fight, and I got a little angry, and I'll PG this. I said, shut up and go up and ask somebody from here where we're at. So those 2 walk up, and this young man's standing there behind a counter, and they go, will you slowly tell us where we're at? He goes, Burger King. True story. True story. I was there and Dan Klopp was there. True story, right, brother? I can't. There are other ones I could tell you out of being here 46 years, but some of them I don't even want to mention, especially with admissions. In all seriousness, the most important piece of our history, our present or our future, is not the land, the buildings, the training aids, the accreditations, the awards, none of it. It's not the most important. The most important is the people, the students, faculty, staff, board, the UNOH family, especially the employees and board. I've worked with every one of you in this room, every retiree, every employee, and every board member. Any business is only as good as the people that work the business. And Northwestern's been blessed with dedicated, hardworking, loyal employees. I want you to think about earlier when we were doing the years of award service. How many 10-year, 15, 20, 30, 40-year employees have been here? That's our success. You take the retirees in this room, most of them worked here 30 years or more. I mean, that's impressive. In today's world, are you kidding me? I mean, we are blessed. The true treasure of UNOH is its people, the employees that make it happen. Every employee who's ever worked at UNOH through all the 100 years has been a piece of its success. It's us. It's the UNOH family. It's the people that make this thing happen. and what we do to better people, to educate them, to become productively employed in their chosen career path, to take care of themselves and their family the rest of their life, what better feeling as far as a job can you get than that? It's truly a blessing, and it's truly amazing what we've done and what we will continue to do. In closing, I gotta brag about us a little bit, as if I haven't already. But according to the Allen Economic Development Group, UNOH and its subsidiaries, OSBA, Lima Land Motorsports Park, Development Corp., we are over a $300 million a year impact on Lima and our community. That's something to be very proud of, too. Even though, in my humble opinion, we don't get the credit we should, we are a major player in this community. When we're shut down on a break, they feel it. The community feels it. I've had them call me. So we're a major impact on our community, and that's something for all of us to be very proud of, too, what we do for our community. We are a vital piece of it. 100 years, what a success story, but that's the past. It's what we do today and tomorrow that's going to make or break UNOH in the future. I mean, I know we've got it in us. I know we can do it. And our goal, starting tonight, is to make the next 100 years better than the last 100 years. We can hang our hats on our laurels and brag about our history, which is important, but it's what we do going forward today, especially in this world, that's going to define our success in the future. So with that said, I want to thank God for his blessings on UNOH and the UNOH family. I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed night, and God bless you all. Thank you.